Okay, so for today's class, we're going to talk about waxing the bottom of our pots. So I completed the first bisque firing. So at this point, the clay, the chemical water that was in the form is now gone. Okay, so at this stage, we can glaze it and it won't just absorb into the pot and wreck it. But before we glaze it, we have to wax the bottom of our work. Because if we don't wax the bottom, the glaze will go down over the edge and it'll fuse itself to the kiln and the work will be wrecked and the kiln shelves will have to be scraped. So you can see this line where there's a color change on the bottom and the groove that I put in when I first trimmed this kept most of the glaze from running down over the form. And even with this, we had a little bit of overrun on this side, but the whole piece wasn't wrecked. This can be ground off and the piece can be saved. Okay, so what we need to do, on the shelves behind me, you will find the wax resist. Today I go have it out in front of me. So this is the wax resist. We want to find a nice, clean, soft brush. And we're going to go ahead and just paint the bottom of our pottery. And I want to make sure that I paint it right into that trim line. And as I'm doing this, I want to also make sure that it can't run down over the edge of my form. Because if this runs even a little bit, it can't be washed off. The only way to get rid of extra wax is to refire it in the bisque fire. And if you have to do that, that may mean that you missed your chance to get your work into the glaze fire and you have to wait for the next one to roll around. Okay? So I'm just painting around the edge, making sure that I get just a little bit of wax inside the groove. I'm also making sure to paint a very, very clean line. If I paint a messy line, it won't show up that much now, but once the glaze is on this and once the firing is complete, it will show as a very, very messy line. So you want to keep this as clean as possible. Okay, so that's pretty much it as far as waxing. I probably want to allow this to sit on its rim for a while and allow the wax to dry. And this is a very dirty surface, just like most surfaces are in this classroom. So I would probably tear off some paper towel just to protect the rim so I don't have all sorts of junk on there. I want to very carefully set it down and make sure that I don't touch the wax at all and then touch my pot, because even my fingers will deposit wax onto the work and it'll stay there forever unless I re-bisque fire it and melt off the wax. Okay? Last thing we want to do, we want to use soap and water to make sure that we clean our brush out really, really well so it's good for the next person.